do want to talk about what I want to do with the team.
Well, that one's going to be bad.
Basically, I just want you to very quickly say flag football and they run out. Second grade run out. Third grade run out. Fourth grade run out. Fifth grade run out. Sixth grade run out. They're going to be in that
flag
order.
starting in first. Flag then first. I mean.
Yep. Flag then second grade.
Flag then second. Okay.
Yep.
I think maybe like after doing introduction, some meet toward the flag pole. Maybe.
That's perfect.
Get them out.
That's perfect.
On.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're an idiot.
We're probably already on. At least on Facebook. Or it's YouTube.
You all right, Drew?
Good.
They can't see us yet because I've got Cap on me up there. But hello, everybody. How are you?
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
All right. Well, here we are. Welcome to week 8. Fast and Furious. The weeks are going by.
Golly, week 8.
I know, right?
My goodness.
And we are joined by a special guest, no other than Drew Hall of Hall Real Estate and Don Hall Construction, one of our big sponsors that I'm sure that you guys are used to hearing us say at this point because he sponsors multiple segments of the show.
Unfortunately, it's turning into House of Cards where people are getting tired of hearing it.
But we are very appreciative. He's on board for the 3rd year in a row, similar to House of Cards, on board
Very,
for the
yep.
3rd in a row. Trey Harden is on board with the third year in a row, as is Drew. So we appreciate that support. We can't do what we do as far as upgrading our equipment and being able to do the scholarships we do for all these young athletes each season, that we are able to do that with the help of our sponsors. So thank you all very much for being on board. So Drew, we had you on here today. You are born and raised here in Sanger. May not born, I don't know, but you were raised here in Sanger. Graduated high school in Sanger.
Yep.
And wanted to give you an opportunity to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your background, and then what your businesses have to offer for residents of Sanger and beyond.
Absolutely. So obviously, grew up here in Sanger. 2003 graduate of what is now the middle school.
Yeah.
I know, heck, when we played football in this field, it was grass. I sound like an old man now, but.
Well, you know, I don't want to interrupt you real quick, but it's funny you say that. You graduated right here. There's so many people that you talk to them that are from Sanger. Every one of them's graduated from a different high school here.
Yeah.
Because of the repurposing plan.
Oh, yeah.
It
Sure.
works out. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
At least you didn't have leather helmets. I know it was grass field, but you didn't have leather
Oh,
helmets.
yeah, no.
That was Brett.
That was me,
That
yes.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no. So anyway, we got a lot of the Sanger folks know the Hall family. We've always been in real estate and construction, and so obviously carrying on family tradition.
And
And
put that a
so,
little closer to your mouth there. The wind's overpowering you.
so obviously carrying on family tradition. My dad passed a few years ago. Actually, Wednesday was 4 years ago, and so
Wow.
I've had the opportunity and the pleasure so far to take his business and just kind of run with it.
Mhm.
It's always a good thing pulling up to the job, seeing his name, because that means more to me than anything, to keep his name going, because he works so hard to build his name and build a legacy with the custom homes that he builds, and then also my mom has been in real estate since the mid '90s, and so I've got kind of the best of both worlds with the real estate and the construction. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So basically, if you're in the need to remodel a home, then Drew can help you with those needs. If you're thinking about building a home and you have land in a subdivision that allows you to bring your own builder, or you have a larger space of land and you're wanting to do multiple things from a shop to a house or other things.
Sure.
Drew is multifaceted. He does commercial and residential construction. You're doing a big commercial project right now here in town.
right here in town, yes, sir.
And then also on the real estate side, it doesn't have to be limited to Sanger. If you have something you're wanting to sell in neighboring counties or beyond, Drew can help you anywhere in the state of Texas, I'm pretty certain, with your license, right?
Absolutely, state of Texas, and I've got 9 agents that hang their license under me. A few Sanger people. Amy Cavins, my brother who lives down in Weatherford, he's got his license, but he's a pilot for Southwest, also a Sanger graduate. And we got Ben Shangtall, Lacey Shangtall, live over in Denton. They come up here and they sell a lot of real estate. So.
Then you have a lady I met out at Rock Creek.
Oh yeah, Kimlin Richburg. She's up at Rock Creek. She does a lot of business up there. She does a lot of transactions or transaction coordinating and stuff for us. When we get something in contract, we let her kind of take and run with it. So
Nice.
kind of a whole team of, or a whole slew of people. Obviously, my mom is still here in town, and she does a little bit of real estate here and there. So.
Well, the next thing I kind of wanted to bring up to you is, and as something to talk about, is the growth of this town. I mean, you grew up here, and you've seen a lot of growth, and we're about to open a brand new Tom Thumb over the way, other side of 35, and I've only been around Sanger since 2013, and I've seen massive growth in this town just since then in 12 years. I can't imagine what you used to see growing up versus what you see now.
Well, I tell people ask me all the time about Sanger, and obviously I'm pretty passionate. I still live here, live out in Bolivar, and so.
You were the mayor at one time, were you not?
Absolutely. That's perfect plug for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still the mayor. That's we got the Dollar General out there that we call
Yeah,
that.
We
call that our grocery store. You know, it came across my desk. And
Yeah, exactly. You had to approve that.
Mayor Drew got the limited grocery store before Sanger did, huh?
Yep. So, no, I mean, just letting everybody know the growth and just the people in town. You know, that's the one thing I like to talk about is the character of the people that we've got in this town, and everybody's, you know, we're so tight knit. Everybody wants to help everybody, and so I also tell people that, you know, I walk into the Sportsman and I just don't know anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
used to. I mean, if you go in there first thing in the morning, I know kind of the.
I was about to say, you're just not getting there early enough.
Yeah,
Because
I know the old guys that are in there.
they're still in there every morning with their coffee and their rumors.
Chit chatting, but no, it's been, man, it's crazy. You know, my dad and there's quite a few other builders that kind of helped do the little developments. I mean, Brook, Benjamin Laney, that was my dad built a bunch of houses there. Ranger Creek, that was another one. Indian Springs. I mean, those are kind of the older neighborhoods now,
Right,
Because
right.
everything's kind of on this side of 35. But man, it's been crazy how much it's growing, and it'd be nice to have a new grocery store, but I still love Burris.
Yeah. I mean, you see people still talk about that to this day. I mean, that was where they would go in and catch up on their neighborhood gossip before Facebook existed. They would see somebody they knew, and
For sure.
they would sit there and visit for 30, 40 minutes. I've had multiple people tell me about those type of stories.
Yep.
And I'm sure that'll still happen. It'll just be a Tom Thumb.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? I mean,
Yep.
there'll be some people that get to catch up on some things that aren't put out on social media
For sure.
as you see out there now. But we really appreciate your support. You have been very consistent. You're always asking us, hey, what do we need? You're a loyal sponsor to the show. You came to Brett 2 years ago in 2023, the first season we were doing this, and sponsored the Coach Rogers show from the get-go when we were still doing this thing with a phone and a ring tripod,
Yeah.
a ring
Had a
light.
little
Ring
ring
light.
light, yeah.
I mean, we were state of the art compared to that now, and probably still have room to grow as far as improvement.
It was weird because back in the day when we very first got started, you could hear the pool table that was 30 yards away
Yes.
louder than you can hear us talking right directly into the microphone. But my, how far we've come.
And to put his logo in the background, we would literally have the banner in the background. Now I can just push a button and cover the screen with a logo that's both brands at the same time.
And that wouldn't be possible what we can do now without our
Before it
loyal
was like a banner like
sponsors.
that.
Yep. Well, no, I really appreciate you guys doing it and giving me the opportunity, because, you know, my big thing, you know, growing up here, you always want to give back, and you know that's the thing, give it back to, you know, every aspect I can with you guys, the automotive department. I mean, anywhere I can, you know, I want to help out the best we can. So.
Old number 6 kids coming over here and dropping off some lemonade. It looks like. Thank you, gentlemen.
Nice.
Football players, they're dressed and ready to go over
Ready
there
to
to the game. That's awesome. Multi-talented individuals there. So we got a big game here tonight. So the other thing I was going to say is when you grew up, we didn't have football for Crum. So you had other sports that we were rivalries with them, with basketball and baseball and maybe others. But how do you see this? This will be the 12th meeting between the two schools. How do you see this as a rivalry, not so much in football because they don't have the history, but just within the towns from a athletic standpoint? How do you see that taking place over the years?
Well, with, you know, obviously Sanger's grown a little quicker than Crum, I feel like, and now Crum's obviously catching up because they're closer to Denton. But man, I just think that the North Texas talent is crazy, and it just keeps getting better and better each year. And so between Sanger and Crum, it's kind of it's the next town over rivalry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's kind of like how when I was in school, you know, our first game on this field right here was Pilot Point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pilot Point was, and at the time I think GA was there.
Yeah.
It was 02, 03. But man, it's these close towns that it just seems like it just builds over the years. And as competitive as people are, and parents and kids and all of it. So.
Well, and having it means something tonight with both teams coming into district play undefeated. There's a lot of people. One of those for him.
He can, yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of people that are predicting this to be the district championship. I mean, there's still some games ahead for either team to win. Sanger has Gainesville and Farmersville left after this game, so even if they win tonight, they still have some work to do. Similar for Crum, they've already had their bye week in district. They'll have a couple of teams left that they'll have to continue to play as well. But this is the matchup. Like, Denton Red Chronicle made it one of their games of the week. 940 Game Day made it their game of the week. It is the game in the area when you look at our county, or even like what 940 does. They cover every major smaller school. I think they're pretty I think they're 4A Division 1 and below in the 940 area code, or what 940 Game Day tries to focus on coverage area. And they made it their game of the week. And there's some other prime games. I mean, you have Peacer playing Paradise tonight, which is a big matchup that we'll talk about here shortly when we do our games of the week. But I think it's very cool to see this game matter, and beyond just the pride of saying bragging rights of, hey, we beat y'all again, or whatever. The all-time series is 9-2. Sanger's up leads the series 9-2. Crum won the very first ever meeting in 2012, and then Sanger rattled off 8 in a row, and then Crum won 2 years ago, and Sanger won last year to bring the series to 9-2. This is the 12th all-time meeting.
Which is a really weird fact, but the visiting team has won the last 3 years in a row.
Right, exactly.
So you, when we talk about rivalry, there's a rivalry there, whether it's budding or it's already there. I mean, these
the towns are definitely rivals for sure. That you can't dispute that.
But these two teams, they don't leave much out there whenever they play each other.
Yeah. So.
The old Crum bums.
That's it. So, well, hey, Drew, we appreciate your time. Absolutely. I know it's valuable. I know that usually you're on the phone. I'm just thankful that you took some time not to be on the phone to be with us on air. So, appreciate that.
Go check your 15 missed phone calls.
No text, no calls. It's on Do Not Disturb.
So there you go.
Awesome. Very cool.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Hey,
you're the
thank
best.
you so much. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate everything you do for us, man.
Yeah,
Really appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back 1 second. We're going to have another special guest here momentarily. Y'all be patient with us. And we're back. I want a big shout out to Church of Christ, the official church of Sanger Sports Corner. They have services, Bible classes for all ages from 9:30 to 10:15, and then their Sunday worship services are from 10:30 to 11:30, and then on Wednesday evenings they have service from 7 to 8 p.m. Go see our friend Mason Peebles. He helps lead the youth group there at Church of Christ. We really appreciate everything that they do for us. They are very consistent in their support of Sanger Sports Corner. And they are located at 400 South Locust Street right here in town. So thank you very much. All right, so now we have a special guest. Nolan, tell me your last name again?
Clark.
Nolan Clark from 940 Game Day is joining us. So if you if you follow our page, then you've probably seen in recent time us share some of the 940. I mean, we shared your page making this the game of the week.
Yes, sir.
This week, they run a very good outfit. You guys have a lot of energy and a lot of data that y'all source. I know that I spoke with you guys a couple weeks ago about where do you collect your stats from, because we're always looking for a source for stats. And you shared with me that you just reached out to each of the teams in your coverage area and just said, hey, if you'll provide me the stats, then you can include those players in what you do for your stat updates. So that's awesome. I think that's a lot of work. I know you told me you put it in spreadsheets similar to what we do for our district stats updates. But I commend you on that. I didn't know if you wanted to go in a little bit of a spill and tell us a little bit about the page, how long it's been around, how y'all got it going and so forth like that.
Yes, sir, for sure. So I appreciate y'all having me out here today. First time in Sanger. These are beautiful facilities. That's the first thing I said when I pulled up.
That's a brand new high school, just opened this fall.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, about my page, I started it in 2023. It
Okay.
was more of a Wichita Falls. That's the area I'm from. I'm born and raised in Owl Park up there.
Okay.
So
They got a big game tonight.
Yes,
They
sir,
do.
they do. Right down the road in Ponder
Yep.
tonight. But yeah, that's where I'm from. I'm a big college football fan. I initially kind of wanted to start a college football page, and I believe it was just a Friday night. The final scores from the area started coming in, so I used some of the team graphics and punched in what I had made up, and showed a couple friends, and they're like, "Hey, man, like, what's the page name? I'll follow it." I was like, "Hey, I'm just playing around." So then I ended up making the page, and it's blown up. So
That's awesome.
something I never figured. I think I'm over 10,000 followers now.
Wow, that's
on
awesome.
Facebook. Yeah, man, I never imagined. I'm kind of stuck with it now. You know.
Yeah, it was so. It's funny you say how you started because we started the same way in 2023. In January of 2023, I launched Sanger Sports Corner Facebook page, and I knew he would be going to a lot of girls basketball games because he has his daughter that's graduated. She's now at Midwestern State in Wichita Falls, but I knew he'd be going to a lot of girls basketball games, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna make you an admin on this page. When you go out there, just put a little update about it. I wanted a page that was about positivity, right? We have enough town pages in Sanger that are all about the complaining about potholes and the end of the works of all that stuff, right?
And when they get tired of the complaints, they make their own page. Then people start complaining on that
Yeah,
page.
Exactly.
for sure.
So we wanted positivity, and so we created a page, and then it's kind of dominoed. And then that summer, we're talking to the new athletic director, head football coach, Coach Rogers, about what that looked like. And we asked him if anybody was like commentating the games. He's like, I don't know, let me find out. And then he asked, and they're like, we had the audio video team was going to be airing the games as far as a video, but they didn't have anybody to commentate because when they had tried that before, that it was kids that were a little less knowledgeable about the sport and just didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And we're like, we'll do it. And then it's blown up from there. We did football, and then high school basketball came to us, girls basketball first. Asked Brett, hey, would y'all be willing to do our games? And then we started buying equipment, and now it's evolved to all this. We were telling Drew all ago when he was a sponsor of the coaches show that we do weekly 2 years ago, and now 3 seasons. It was a cell phone on a tripod with a ring light on it. That was it. And now we've come super far into the technology. And not that we can't do more, but we've come a long ways with what we have and what we're able to provide now. So similar stories, how it started in 23. I didn't realize it started in 23, but you guys do a fantastic job. We always enjoy following a little bit of that. But what do you say we dive into some football instead of continue to talk Facebook pages, huh?
Yeah, I'm for that. Let's get it.
All right. So so our games of the week, can you see this over here on your monitor?
Yes, sir, I can.
Awesome. So obviously we're starting right here. It's 940 game days, game of the week. Crum at Sanger Indians. Crum's 5-0. Sanger's 5-2, both undefeated in district. Sanger comes in at 3-0. Crum's 2-0 in district. They've already had their district bye. Our district bye is after this game. So we'll run through all these and then come back and high point them. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
And then within district play, the Van Alstyne Panthers 1-4 head to Gainesville and take on the Leopards, also 1-4. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. This week's games of the week brought to you by Pepper Belly Barbecue. New sponsor to the program, but not new personalities to athletics and Sanger. Stephanie and Leonard Dotson are amazing supporters of Sanger Athletics. They continue their support day in and day out. They run the home concession stand. If you have a barbecue sandwich out of home concessions, it's provided by Pepper Belly Barbecue. His food truck is on the other side of 455 from Sanger Middle School, just a little bit towards the railroad tracks. Please go support Leonard. He posts his hours every day on when he's going to be open because it depends on his availability. He does a lot of catering events and such, but they do great work, and they are phenomenal supporters. They were our first ever, when we used to do Tribe Fanatic of the Week.
Yep.
They were our first ever Tribe Fanatic of the Week a couple years ago.
They still run the booster club for football.
Absolutely.
Don't have a kid in the program.
Yep.
Still run the booster.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so just because they don't love free time,
Yeah,
basically,
right.
they do that out of the kindness of their hearts. Kind of like me and you.
Right.
I didn't want to go too far without mentioning them. So thanks for them being on board this week for a sponsor for their. I want to make sure I pull up and see if that's the wrong one. Any comments going on over here that I'm missing? Yeah, all good there. So anyways, let's back up and put this over here. Apologies, I digress. All right. So the next game is Cattle Mills Foxes at Farmersville Farmers. That's going to be an interesting game. I wonder what we're going to see out of Cattle Mills. Cattle Mills took a tough loss to Sanger, lost to Crum a few weeks ago, and now they travel to Farmersville. I don't know. We don't know where Farmersville's at. They could be pretty good. They may not. We don't know. So that's an interesting game for this district. Another big game in 940's coverage area, Peaster at Paradise. Paradise perennially really good at football. They're number 2 in the state, and they're hosting Peaster, which that game's probably for the district title, wouldn't you say?
Probably so. Vernon may still have something to say. I know that they lost to Paradise a few weeks back, but yeah, I mean, this very well could be for the 1-2 spot in that district.
And it could be one of those times where that district could end up in a 3-way tie, because if they go round robin beating each other,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like if Peaster wins this game, but then Vernon beats Peaster, then you have a 3-way tie for first, and very possible in that district. And then in a bigger school matchup in 5A, Mansfield Summit heads to Argyle to take on the Argyle Eagles. Your hometown, Iowa Park, travels to Ponder Lions, and a big game for that district. That's probably for the 4th place game. Would you agree?
Yeah, it could very well could have implications on that. And another tiebreaker, like you said.
Right.
That's what
Bowie's
we
going to
saw
have something to
last
say
year.
about that too,
Yep,
but Bowie
exactly.
beating Ponder last week. And then a battle of the Hornets between Munster traveling down to Era and mascots both being named Hornets. Nevada Community, one of our earlier this year opponents, heads to Aubrey. Aubrey's down a little bit this year. They're struggling. They're going to try to get back into the win column tonight by facing Nevada's community team. And then Palmer, who was picked by a lot of people to win that district, has already lost 2 games in district. They were 5-0 at one point. They travel to Whitesboro to take on the Whitesboro Bearcats. That's also 4-2. So that game could have playoff implications in the 3rd or 4th spot behind, say, Pottsboro and Pilot Point, depending on who you look at in that district as well. So I'll tell you what, we'll start over and go back into the top and talk about this game right here. What's all been the chatter on your page? What do you feel like the fans are seeing, and what do you kind of think about this game?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm very excited to finally see Reggie Jones in person. I'm tired of typing in his stats and not having any idea of seeing him in person. I think he's had like 637 yards the last 2 games. He's taken over my top rusher in total yards and yards per game, man. I'm stoked to get to see him. Obviously, you can't do that without the 5 guys up front blocking, so I can't wait to see how that Singer line moves some body tonight. But, I mean, either on the other side of the field, you have Will Holland from Crum. I know Crum's 2 games behind y'all, so he's not going to be as high on the total yards.
But his yards per game are still impressive.
Yes, he is. He's still behind 3rd, right behind Reggie and Cruz Coleman from Henrietta. So it's going to be a matchup between 2 really good running backs tonight, and I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, I agree. And when you looked at, I think the Denton Red Chronicle put out a deal yesterday, and they talked about this matchup because especially the Denton County implications and this district's implications. And he said the same thing. I mean, in Northern Denton County School, it's 1 versus 2 when it comes to the running backs in the county that the coverage area for Denton Red Chronicle covers. So that's it's an interesting matchup. I think the most recent opponent for both schools can be a little bit deceiving. I hope the Sanger fans aren't expecting 73 points like we put up against
that was crazy.
Ben Alstein last week. We didn't either.
We weren't either. Yeah.
And we're the biggest fans and homers that you could find, and we didn't.
And we have a lot of insights also, and I thought maybe beat them by 2
scores.
touchdowns.
That's why I had that game, and I mean we kept saying on the air that we didn't have this on our bingo card. During the broadcast. So and we really didn't. I mean I loved it. Don't get me wrong. And I think the bigger surprise from me and Brett's standpoint that night was the consistency of the Singer defense. The offense doesn't surprise us because the offense has been on fire all season long, and they've scored at a rapid pace very quickly. They've had several drives this season, maybe 10 drives that are 2-play drives where they score bang, bang. And they can beat you with Reggie. Obviously, you mentioned him. But Reed Sebastian's having quietly a really good year.
It seems like he's getting better and better every week.
And he started out as low as you can start with a 4-interception game against Paris. We lost that to a really good Paris team who's only had 1 loss since that game. With 4 interceptions, and we turned the ball over on downs inside the 7 twice, and we lost that game by 7 points. I think if you would have told anybody going into the game, hey, we're going to have 4 turnovers and we're going to get stopped inside the 7 twice, you would have thought it would have been a 4 or 5 score game.
Especially against that team.
Yeah, you wouldn't have said it had been a 1-score game. So I think that game goes differently if we played it today because I think Reed's confidence level has been tremendous since then. He had a great, I know it was only a half of a game against Pottsboro when we had homecoming the following week, but he played flawlessly in that game. He was 8 for 8 passing, did have a single incompletion, and he's had a lot of games since that. He had a 300-yard passing night last week. And I know he was on y'all's top players of the week as far as
Sir.
the quarterbacks were concerned. But yeah, he's come back, and we have a lot of different weapons at receiver. It's not like you can go out there and key in on one receiver at any given time. You have to cover a lot. I mean, between Wyatt Pennington and Joel Rodriguez, who was the leading receiver last year, now Levi Hendricks is putting his name out there on the stat sheet in multiple facets, and then you have Austin Martin. Austin Martin is a
do
weapon
anything.
from all three facets of the game. He can throw the ball on you. He can run the ball. He's our third leading rusher on our team. And then when you look at district stats, we have three receivers counting Austin in the top 8 in the district in receiving yards. So lots of weapons on this team. And then from a defensive standpoint, it seems like every single week the defense gets better. Crum's coming off a bye. They're fully rested. They should be fully healthy. They also are undefeated in district. So hopefully people don't look at the 73-23 and the 23-19 and say, oh, Sanger's going to win this by 30 or 40 points, because I don't think that's the reality of the game.
No.
Football is a game of matchups, and I think our matchups versus Crum and our matchups versus Van Alstyne are a little different. And so hopefully everybody level sets their expectations. Now, if we go out and win by 30, I'll be just as pleased as anybody else. But
Will you
I
go
think
on
it's
the
going
air
to be a
and say
closer.
I was wrong?
I will. 100%. That is where we're at on this game. And I know you guys come out and y'all do predictions because y'all are a little more neutral. We try not to do predictions. We don't give anybody any bulletin board material. But you do predictions on all your big games of the week, and you had Sanger on the win side on this one. So what was your reasonality on the difference in picking when it's such a close matchup?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Crum coming off a bye, they're going to be healthy. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, but I don't see how you pick against the Sanger offense, especially what they did last week compared to what Crum did the week before against the same team. I mean, I'm riding with Reggie Jones and that offensive line and all the names you spilled out and the receiver. I don't know how you pick against them. They're so hot right now, so that was kind of why I chose Sanger this week.
Nice. All right, so we'll get into some of the other 9-4 matchups. Peaster headed to Paradise. How do you feel about that game, and what do you know about those two teams that we don't know?
Yeah, I done Peaster. I've caught a little bit of heat. They're just outside 9-4-0, so I don't.
You don't have the coverage on them as some of the others,
but they're kind of adopted because everybody else in that district's one of my coverage teams. But I mean, this first time they've been 6-0. I know they have a returning quarterback that's been lighting it up this year so far. And obviously, like you said, Paradise is Paradise. They're a powerhouse that went to the state semifinals for the first ever time last year. I saw them week 5 in Vernon. They have so much speed on the field, and they lack size. That's their downside, but they're very, very physical in the trenches. So I think that's going to be a great matchup. Paradise has already beaten Vernon, so if they get this tonight, their chances of winning that district again are very high.
Yeah, that's very true. Very good point. And then Iowa Park heads to Ponder, and I know you picked Ponder. That had to be painful.
It is. I like you said, I tried to be neutral and not pick too much to my Hawks, but they've been hit very hard with the injury bug so far this year. That was one thing I highlighted in their season preview is they lack depth all around, and non-district against City View, the game I went to, their all-state left tackle. Yeah, he went down. He ended up having to have surgery on his knee. He's done for the year. Their captain on defense, same thing. He had a knee injury, had to have surgery, so he's done for the year. So, I mean, Owl Parks, they've been hit hard.
That is tough.
Very hard. You know, for Ponder, they obviously have Tyson Price, quarterback. That dude can run, pass, everything. He's so athletic. I wish I got to find a game to go out there and watch.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he threw for 464 yards last week.
Yeah.
So, and they took a rough loss to Bowie. Probably a game, if you ask Ponder, they probably shouldn't have lost that with the numbers they put up. So they're probably going to be very hungry tonight to not trail too far behind Bowie, because now Bowie has that win on top of them.
Yeah, very true. Do you feel like Iowa Park has a shot at keeping it close and maybe being in it in the fourth quarter?
I can. They got to get the run game going. That was their strength, was that old lineman and their running back, Cody Johnson. He's right up there in my rushing leaders this year. So if they can get the running game going and find some way to contain Tyson Price and all those high-flying receivers, I believe that they can keep that game close. This is a game, kind of the same situation. Owl Park was 0-2 going into this game, and they ended up beating Ponder, and that ultimately got them the 4th spot in that district to make the playoffs in the point differential.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know. And that district's so deep, you never know.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Does your coverage area include the Salina Aubrey area? Is that a coverage for you?
Yeah, I do cover Aubrey, not Salina,
Okay.
but yeah, I do cover Aubrey.
So we always talk on the coaches show about how strong and stout that district is. You have Sulphur Springs, Salina, Panther Creek, Aubrey, who has been going to second and third round in the playoffs for several years now as one of the teams in that district. Lake Dallas is now in that district, falling down from 5A. But we on a coaches show, anytime we talk about games of the week, we literally point out that district as being very stout. I mean, you have at one point in time you had 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in that district before some losses happened. So it's very interesting to see that district play out. Because when you talked about strong districts, I wanted to clean that up. But the next thing is, I'm assuming Munster and Era both in your coverage area?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about that game. Munster's number 2, coming off a big win from Lindsay. Rivalry game. Lindsay was in that game for a while when you watched the updates back and forth, and then Munster's able to pull away in the second half. Era was undefeated before last week, and they lost to Santo. That's right. So how do you see that game going tonight?
Yeah, I actually went to – that was a game I went to last week, was Munster-Lindsay. I mean, Munster's the defending state champs for the reason. They have so many dudes that can make plays, and obviously Case and Carney at quarterback.
Yep.
Dude's one of the best quarterbacks I've seen. I know my Page is young, but, I mean, he really is. I mean, Era, they have a couple guys who are athletic and can make explosive plays happen, but, I mean, you can't pick against Munster.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I kind of agree. They're on a roll right now. They had a really tough, challenging non-district schedule that I think helped them set up to make this run again in the regular season and potentially playoffs. And then the last game on our list is Palmer at Whitesboro. I don't know if either one of those are in your coverage area either. So let's talk about a couple of games that we don't have on our list that you want to spotlight.
Yeah, kind of in that Owl Park Ponder district is another big one. You've got Bowie and Boyd. I think.
Okay.
And Boyd
went all the way to the end with Ponder.
They did. Yeah, it came down. I think it was a 47-yard
field goal in high school football. That's amazing.
Yeah, very crazy. I know. Yeah, Boyd has a lot of skill positions they returned this year. They were going to be a whole lot better, and like I said, now that Bowie has that win over Ponder, and Ponder has the win over Boyd, if Bowie can get that win tonight, that could be a huge step into ending their postseason drought that Bowie has had. So I think that's another big game to keep an eye on tonight.
Yeah, especially if they want to eliminate having to get in on a tiebreaker at the end, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if they continue to get those W's in that win column, then they can prevent from coming down to a tiebreaker, because the tiebreaker's like point differential average between the teams in the tie or something. I don't know. It gets complex.
It does.
So that's very good insight to that. Any other games out at 940?
Not that I can think. We kind of
some of the matchups aren't as powerful. Like last week, there was a bunch to choose from.
There was.
And this week, there's a few less. But when it comes to the leaders in the 940 area, how do the Sanger players like Reggie you talked about stack up? But like, how about Reed at quarterback? Is he in your top 10? I don't even know how many you go down to.
I don't know the exact spot. I posted top 15. I know Reed has steadily been climbing with the performances he's had. He's been climbing up on the quarterback list of, like I said, I don't know exactly where at he is. And then it's good team-wise, but it kind of hurts when you're looking at the stat leaders for receivers, because it's so spread out among Martin, Hendricks, Rodriguez, and Pennington. Those 4 guys, I want to say off the top of my head, they probably all total over at least 200 yards.
Oh, so, yeah. I think collectively for the 4 of them, they're probably over 1,000 for the season.
Yeah. But, I mean, you spread that out between 4 guys. It's kind of tough to have one of them inside the top 15 there. But, I mean, team-wise, that's great to have. For
sure. Yeah, you're right. It does hurt you when you want to compete and be in the top list for the individual. But when you look at it from a stat standpoint, if I bring this up on this page so you can see, I know this is district leaders, so some of these guys aren't in there. But, yeah, Reed Sebastian sitting at 1,220 yards and 12 touchdown passes. He leads the district. This is District 5 for 4A Division II. And then Reggie Jones, as you mentioned, 1,476 yards on the season, 18 touchdowns. He leads the district in total touchdowns as well as yards. And then for receiving standpoint, we're 4th in the district with 374 with Pennington. And then Joel at 323 and Austin at 288. And then who am I missing? Levi's right behind him. Levi's had two 100-yard games, which really is the bulk of what he's done, because they've just recently started using him as a weapon. And the thing about Levi that I want to call out is the last 2 weeks he's played a bunch of two-way football. And while it happens a lot more in 3A and 2A, it doesn't happen as much in 4A. And due to some injuries and some kids having to play different spots, Levi had to step up and play defense a lot more than he has been. And in those games he's played defense, it's like he's had monster games on the offensive side of the ball too. But yeah, collectively for sure over 1,000 between the four of them. And then Bola, who's only has 347 yards in rushing, he still sneaks into the top 8 for the district, which is cool to see. But Caddo Mills, I know it's not in your 940 area, but man, they literally, like if you look at it by logo, they have 7 logos on this page, 2 quarterbacks. I don't know if you heard this deal, but one of their quarterbacks has left the program. So that's why they're down to 1 quarterback now. It's just the Colton Ponton now.
But he hadn't played in like, what, 2 or 3 weeks.
And he's still in the top 8 in district.
Pretty impressive.
He hadn't played since the week before the Sanger game.
Yep.
And that was his last game. And then they have 2 guys in the running back list, and they have 3 guys in the receiver list, which speaks to the fact that they had 2 quarterbacks throwing the ball. And as we mentioned on the coach show Tuesday or Thursday, Colin Heath, their number 1 receiver, we held without a catch when we played him, and he's still at the lead in the district in receiving yards.
It's impressive.
So, well, hey, anything we've missed, Nolan, that you would like to give a shout-out to, any of your supporters that you want to thank to help you get to where you're at with your page these days? This is definitely a platform. You're welcome to do it.
Yes, I mean, biggest supporters, all the fans that comment, share, everything like that. That's the biggest thing for me. But, I mean, I appreciate y'all asking me to come on and do this. First time I've ever done anything like this. So.
That's awesome.
We'll make it happen more often.
Yes,
yeah,
sir, I
anytime
agree.
you're in the area, feel free. Because and the thing is, if you're ever at a game that Sanger's on the road, like especially when we get to the postseason or something, holler at us, because sometimes we're doing it from the stands.
For sure. I
Like we have all the
man.
equipment. Like we're not even using power. We have this generator right here we use to give us power. So we've gotten to the point where we won't even ask for room in the press box on the stand, and we just go in the stands and do it, and we have a better time doing it.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
a better environment. I like it.
Yep.
Being in stands, get the whole.
Like the Gainesville
Noise in the
games on
crowd.
Halloween night, and we're going to be
That's awesome.
up in the stands
Yeah.
on Halloween night doing it. So we're looking forward to it. Well, hey, Nolan, thank you for getting here early.
sir,
I know
man.
it's a long drive. We
Hey,
appreciate
man,
you coming
I
to join us.
appreciate it. So,
Absolutely.
Like I said, first time up to Sanger, so I want to see everything.
Yeah.
And beautiful facilities too, so I can't wait to kind of walk around and see everything.
Yeah, try the old number 6. They do a great job. That's the culinary team, culinary class from the school, helping put all that stuff on, and they do a phenomenal job. The food's great. And then again, one of our other sponsors, Pepper Billy Barbecue, they'll have food at that main home concession stand right there, and make sure you say hello to Coach Rogers. I'll come
sir.
down there and do the introduction here momentarily if you got some time. Just to make sure you can say hello to him, because I know him and I talk about y'all's page all the time as well.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
So-
And after the game, the team usually meets right out here, right outside the concession stand. You'll run into Reggie right over there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Run up there and
absolutely.
Go talk to him. He will be one of the most polite kids you'll ever meet in your life.
Sir,
Yep.
I've heard a lot about him,
Yeah.
how he's a humble, great kid. So
He really is. Big shout out to Cat Plumbing. Thanks to Michael Berner for being our official pregame show sponsor. Thanks to Drew Hall for joining us from Don Hall Real Estate and Don Hall Construction. Appreciate Church of Christ again being on for a sponsor. Brett, anything we missing, or we can sign off?
We're ready to go, homie.
All right, awesome. Appreciate everybody joining in. Get ready to watch some Crum Bobcat and Sanger Indian football here momentarily. We've already shared the YouTube page on our page that you'll see the link to be able to go watch the broadcast. So that's where it'll be.